Hey everyone, welcome to another studio chat. So just to give you a quick little update what I've been up to. I think last time we met here I was talking about these guys. So I was a bit obsessed with them for a week and now I feel like I moved on, even though I do feel like I want to kind of revisit these because I really loved the color scheme I had going here. So while I moved on to other things, which I'll show you in a second, my palette has also been somewhat adjusted. I am really loving this palette. Now the reason that you see here the occasional half pan is because I'm trying to finish some paints before I squeeze more paint into my wells. So this is a nearly finished half pan of quinacridone coral, which I absolutely love, from Daniel Smith, and this is the condition of my 15 mils tube. So I think soon it might be time to get a new one. I'll probably repurchase the Daniel Smith one because I was very happy with it. And here I have my last bits of the naphthite maroon. Maybe one day I'll learn to say it. I did purchase a whole tube of this. There it is. I don't think the color on the tube itself is a good representation of the color. So if you're trying to do like the Jean Haynes technique of like holding your paint tubes next to the thing you want to paint, I think we can zoom in a little bit for this video. This might not be the best idea with this particular color because it's not a good representation. The color itself is a lot more on the kind of red Bordeaux side. This looks to me a bit more like the moon glow. So just a little side note. And here I have Indanthrone blue, which is a beautiful inky blue, and I don't have this in a tube. I do have quite a bit of it still in this half pan. This I bought from an Etsy store that sells Daniel Smith half pans. So if you want to test a bunch of colors, first of all, I would suggest to buy the dot card from Daniel Smith. You can buy also from Schminke, and I think Holbein also offers them. That's the best deal. It will pay for itself in the long run because you will save yourself the disappointment of buying colors you don't really like. But if you don't want to get the tubes and you paint with, you know, you work with a palette that fits half pans, like this one, which I have used very heavily. But now that I'm painting on a bigger scale, I feel like it's a bit limiting for me, the little pans, just in the, probably mostly in the way that I have to make my brushes work a bit too hard to get the amounts of paint that I want. So I kind of have been neglecting this palette and moved on to this one. But anyway, I will probably purchase a tube of this so I can add it to my palette. It's a beautiful inky blue and I love it. Yeah, so I have been playing with a brighter color palette. And yeah, so I'll just show you a bit. So this was, I went on to just try a few different, I don't know, takes on this painting. This was the first larger size that I made. I actually really like it. As I was making it, I was kind of getting sick of it and I felt like it wasn't working, and I started to add like all these lines. I was just, okay, let's just go for it, add all the detail, overwork it, see what happens. But actually I really like it and I think it would look pretty framed. So maybe one day I will actually frame some of my paintings. And these were all my little sketches, and this one is my absolute favorite one. I might scan this and maybe print it on like a little pouch. So this, you can do this with your own artwork without a problem. You don't need like a minimal number of products or anything like that. I use Redbubble, and I think they have, you know, production factories, I'm gonna say, in a few places in the world. So mine is actually made in Germany, which I really, I'm happy about it because it's, you know, relatively local to me in Austria, and I don't have to pay any custom taxes because it's within the EU, like the European Union. So this is some artwork that I did. It's called Rainbow Girl. You can also get this on my Redbubble corner. I will link it below, but my point is that I thought I might do that also with this, like do something similar with this, because I really love how this turned out, but it's very small, so I think if I just frame it, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it as much as if I used it on something like, you know, a pouch or something like that. And yeah, here I was just like, okay, let's just go crazy, go more expressive, loose. It was just fun and experimenting, and the more I think you paint a subject, the more comfortable you get with it. So moving on, again, I started here something, maybe I'll go back to it, maybe not. And then here I was practicing some of the week 3 assignments in the Watercolor Mastery course from Angela Fehr that I'm taking right now. I've spoken about this in previous videos. That class is closed for registration and will reopen sometime in 2019 because it's a live class. It's fantastic. And yeah, if you are interested in other like self-paced courses by Angela Fehr, you can find an affiliate link below. So this was talking about color and mood, and I just kind of haphazardly did this, so yeah. And here is where I started playing. I printed out some of these photos. I showed this in the Dilemmas video, and I was just playing around with colors. And yeah, also with my subject, I think I have to say, I think having such a large journal is really fun and freeing to experiment and try different things. So, and I think it's fun to also look through it and see your progress and see where you were and how things changed. I'm really enjoying it. So then I did some washes, which might become something at some point. And wait, before I talk about this, so going back to this, I decided to try something that, you know, I might start and finish. Excuse me. And this is what I made, and I'm kind of happy with it, but I think I can do better. It was fun to make, and yeah, I definitely learned from it. I don't know if I will frame it. The paper I used for this is the Paul Rubens paper, which I've reviewed on my channel, and it's pretty nice. I mean, the texture, I like the texture of this paper. The Khadi journal, the Khadi rough paper, is even more textured, and I think you can see that it's handmade. You can also see it has some flaws. I'll show you what I mean. So here, for example, you can see like really the fibers of the paper. So I don't know, I'm not an expert on the production of watercolor paper, but you can see here that it's a bit different. I don't know where the issue lies in here, but you can definitely see that it's like handmade because it's not as uniform across the board on every single sheet. So this seems more like machine-made paper, and I do like it. Yeah, nothing much I can say about it. I don't know if I will repurchase this particular brand, but it was nice to work with. Definitely handles the paint in the way that I wanted to, and just the flow. You can see such a difference between cheaper paper and higher quality heavyweight watercolor paper. So this behaved really well. I'm just not sure I'm a huge fan of the texture here. You can see every paper has, like every company just has a different kind of texture to it. Some look more machine generated, some look more natural. You really have to try and see. So this is the Paul Rubens paper, and then this one I used another reference photo. So this photo I took in my garden, and then I manipulated it in Photoshop to get more the colors that I like. Obviously my trees here in my garden are not, sadly, are not violet purple. They are green. So this is definitely Photoshop manipulated, but you know, I can kind of test it out before I actually paint something. So it just helps me to visualize certain things. And this is my version. It's definitely not supposed to be a copy of this. I had a lot of fun. This is the Lana paper that I showed in my birthday haul. I really love it. So I think you can see a little bit the difference. Now, this is the way that things look here is a combination of the paper and the pigment, because here I used all my darks here are granulating colors like cobalt blue violet and mineral violet from Holbein. So it's not just the paper that makes the paint appear like this. And here the colors that I used are kind of more the you know, they're artificially made pigments with like fluorescent pigments. So the Schmincke Brilliant Blue Violet and the Schmincke Brilliant Purple, and also Indanthrone Blue, which I'm not sure exactly what are the qualities. So it's not just the paper. I just want to make that clear so you don't think, oh, this paper does more magical stuff than this. It's definitely the pigment, and yes, I always switch between, you know, certain colors and others because of their qualities, but I think here you can really see the beauty of granulating more sediment-based watercolors. So all this beautiful, beautiful texture is a combination of, you know, pigment and paper. And I really enjoyed it. I might revisit this subject because I had fun painting it, and I think I might be able to change the composition and make something more effective. I feel like here it's more interesting because of like these different parts, and I kind of made mine just this one boring line. So I think if I do it again, I might do something more interesting with the composition. But I really love the colors, and I especially love the dark colors here. So all these blue violets with the orange pouring into them. I think that's a really beautiful look, very autumn feel. So that's what I was playing with. I don't know, I probably could frame this. I think it would look nice. I'm not sure I will. So yeah, that's that. Then I moved on. I decided to, so I made these washes. I don't know if something will come out of them. Maybe here I thought about, I think this would be fun to maybe do some flowers. I think like these areas could look fun as flowers, maybe something more abstract, not a particular flower that I have in mind, maybe like a bouquet of flowers. I don't know, I might go back. Now these, I had a lot of fun making these. So for this, I don't have a reference photo. My reference photo is in my mind and in my head. So I was just driving my girls to school and daycare, and I was looking at the road. It's currently kind of end of fall where I live in Austria, and I live in the countryside, so this is mostly what I see. And it's just, there are still a few leaves on the trees, but mostly on the ground. And in the last days we've had very kind of foggy mornings. So I call this morning mist. And I mostly used my palette dirt, so it's cleaner than usual. I mean, there's like less paint here because I mostly used it for this. And for this one, I used a lot of this area, which has more the purples and the blues. And for this one, I used mostly this area, which has a few my versions of earth tones and a few just like, you know, palette dirt of oranges and reds. And I really loved making these. I think I made them in like 2 or 3 layers. So, you know, the detailed work here, you need the first layer to be drier. And what I find challenging about painting from my head is getting the images to look more dimensional and not flat. But I think in this case it kind of worked. I really like how this, you know, curvy road looks, and that added blue color here makes it look more dimensional, because things in the background tend to look blurrier with less detail and cooler in tone. So sorry, this video is getting to be super long, but this is what I've been working on, and thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!